G'day guys, Hector back again. Today we're going to have a look at the RC Mart RS2400 kV version 2 motors, 2206s. They're 7075, they've been upgraded to NZO Japan bearings. Yeah, there's not a huge amount being upgraded. I think it's N52, maybe SH, probably not, N52 magnets and better bearings, but I don't think a huge amount has changed. So let's swing in and have a bit of a look-see. So you'll have to excuse me tonight, I'm having a bit of a beer. It's Christmas Eve, so let's hook right in, throw them off to the side and pull a motor out, I guess. So here we've got a couple of screws, and our motor. So dual grub screws either side. They are 0.9mm, so you're going to have to buy like a special kit just to take those screws off. And while I'm looking at it, like this press fit sort of shaft design, do we need grub screws at all is the question. When I think about this design, as long as the shaft is it's been machined, you know, it's got some grooves in it that it's not going to slip, I don't actually think that we need any grub screws at all. If you're going to keep grub screws in this motor, fucking make them 1.5mm, because finding a 0.9mm driver is just next to impossible. Okay, moving on. So weight on these little fellas, or big fellas, we'll find out. So it's a 2206 motor. I'll cut that off. And we're getting 33.77, so 33.8 we might as well call it. And with the nut and washer removed, we're getting 32.8. Yep, okay, so 32.89 roughly, I think I'm seeing there. It's hard, yep, okay. Cool, so that's that out of the way. I actually have a purpose for these motor wires. Normally I would cut them off at this point and weigh these motors with you know, your standard sort of length motor wires, but I'm going to be using the FPV model Quadrant, and that's a 4-in-1, so I need the motor length. So I only got set 4 of these motors, so I'm not going to be cutting the wire off this motor to weigh it. Someone else can do that for us. So the next thing I normally do with these motors is pull the Eclip off. Now when you get your set, you'll notice, you know, if you've been in a My RC Mart customer in the past, you may notice the Eclip has changed to a smaller, much harder to remove clip. My normal process would be a small pair of pliers, and I would usually butt one end up against the clip and one against the other of the shaft and just press in. Unfortunately, you can't do that with these clips. They've changed them, they're smaller, they're shitter. Well, in my opinion, they're shitter off the bat because I can't get them off with this, which makes maintenance slower. I did, however, manage to find a method. If you can get your hands on a pair of tweezers that are large enough. Now, big warning, don't just go like stealing these tweezers from anywhere. Ask. Your partner, your wife, significant other will murder you if you use a good pair. So just, you know, find the shittiest pair or ask for a pair that might work. And you can try and see if that'll hit either side of the clip. In my case, this one's not, so they're useless to me. What I end up finding that did work was the end of my calipers. So we need something long enough and thin enough to come in here and press either side of this clip. Hopefully this is all on camera. Press either side of this clip, and then once you get it in there, see how it just popped off then? So it is actually incredibly easy to remove, but I was swearing my head off at it when I couldn't just remove it with this. So you do need a different sort of tool to get that clip off. But knowledge is power, I guess, in these sort of scenarios. So once you know how to get that off, put it in your bag and save that fella for later. So now we've got our motor. Rip that off. So the N52 magnets, I can't tell any difference between that and the N50s. Or maybe I can actually. Oh, see that? That brings me to our next section. Did you see how easy? I've got to show you this. So the last set I really complained about the bearings being hard to remove, because all the prior motors, you'd sneeze at them and they'd pop out like that, which is excellent. Like the tolerance there on that bottom piece is just fucking sexy. It's golden. It really is. Like, you see how that bearing's just popping out for me? Yeah, it's beautiful. Nice and easy. So, okay, we'll leave that one out and hope that the... Nah, okay. So this top bearing isn't coming out as easy. I think this is going to require a bit of beer. Alright, so... And the camera up a bit as well. So basically, if I can't get this top bearing out really easy, I am going to swear at this motor. Yeah, so I'm just going to pop something in there that's going to hit the inner race of the bearing, even though it's like the worst way to get it out. It's what needs to be done. So if you're replacing these bearings, it doesn't matter anyway if you fuck the inner race. So we'll pop a small screwdriver in there like that. And I really don't want to get a vise or any balsa wood or anything fancy, so I hope this works. I really do. Just stash my beer up there. Oh, okay. Sick. Fucking sick. So that bearing come out pretty damn easy as well. I would dare say that that this top section, it could have like an umpteenth, like a really small amount machined around from the inside, like a point of a mil, 0.1 mil removed from there, just so that the bearing on the top goes in as easy as that bearing at the bottom. Because that bearing at the bottom is just fucking beautiful. That is sick. That is a motor I can do maintenance on very easy. And they are definitely, in fact, EZO bearings. Japan EZO, what is that, 684Z? I don't know. I can't read. I've got the bearing under the camera more than I can see it, so hopefully you can read that. But yeah, it's an NZO bearing. Awesome. So putting that bearing back. Okay. Camera can come up a little bit again now. So we notice this bottom bearing is really easy to put back in, but the top one, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. It's sort of pressing in, but it's not quite there. In moments like this where the tolerances aren't that great and you can't just finger press bearings, that's where I come up with this little tool. So I'll quickly explain it. We've got an M3, I don't know, what is it, 30 odd mil? Let's see. I've got calipers here, I should just measure it. So it's an M3 20, we'll call it a 25 mil. Yep, so M3 25 mil screw with 2 M3 nuts. I'm taking the first one off now. An M3 washer that I'm removing now. And some random Imperial washer that sort of fits over the bottom. So that goes on the bottom and just sort of fits flush. And then we take our washer, and you'll notice that fits nicely over the whole bearing. This is what you want if you're going to install new bearings. You don't want to just be pressing on the inner race, because you're just going to root the new bearing that you're putting in. So we'll put a washer over that, and then we'll put our M3 nut. on there. Happy days. And then we'll start snugging that up. Half of that's probably out of camera, hopefully. Hopefully you can see all this. So we'll bring the camera down a bit further now, so we can see our bearing is popping out a little bit. And then all we need to do is grab a pair of pliers, grab one end, and a Phillips head screwdriver for the other. Where's my camera? There we go. Okay. And then just start tightening that up. And eventually you'll get to the point where your bearing's in there nice and snug, and you don't need to tighten this up anymore. And we're pretty well at that point. I'm just going to take this out of view for a second, just so I can look at it myself and tighten it up properly. Oh man. Okay, so that's how I do my bearing pressing. Camera coming back up for a second. And I believe that bearing's in there nice. You don't want to tighten it up too much, just enough that you start feeling a bit of tension. You can be your own torque wrench in these sort of scenarios, and you can feel it out. So we'll take that all off, and it's out still just a tiny tad, but hopefully it all just goes back together, and we'll soon find out. If it doesn't, then we just need to press it in and get a little bit more. So back in the bag we go. What I like to do is just sit that on there on the shaft, pop it in the bag, and we should just be able to pop that on like this. Should be able to, being the key word. Yep, beautiful. Okay, so it clips back on, motor's back together, and it's feeling nice and smooth. Alright, let's click back over, back up to top view. Yeah, okay, so that's how you press your bearings back in. It's a general look over at the motors. So, recap, 7075, new NZO Japan bearings, N52 magnets, and the distance between the stator and the magnets, you can't see that. I've already tried this. I cannot. I've tried putting a piece of paper in there, and it doesn't quite work. So the air gap between the magnets and the stator is incredibly tight, which is a good thing. That's what we want to compete with motors of today's standards. The air gap really does need to be as small as possible. That just about does it. I mean, for a nice cheap motor that's going to pretty well perform as well as motors, you know, twice the price. Yeah, I'm impressed. I always have been. I did a lot of research when I started flying multi-rotors, and you know, with the mini quads, I wanted a good, cheap motor that didn't, you know, cost an arm and a leg and performed, and I chose the original RS2206 motors about 2-3 years ago now, and I have stuck with my RC Mart ever since for all my motor purchases. Yeah, I've flown T-motor. Let's just put it out there, like Tiger T-motors, they're damn good motors. I still have two version 2 F40s and some F30s, and they are the smoothest motors that I have ever had, and they still are till today, and I've smashed them about. They're still like the smoothest motors that I have in my collection. Beautiful, spinning around, like they are really, really good. But I'd never buy them. I just can't afford to. I'd never pay the money for them. I just can't justify it when I can buy my RC Mart motors for 12 or 13 bucks or whatever it is, and they perform just as well. And I don't crash that much. Like, it's hard to say. Like, I do crash, and I crash a fair bit, but I think my crashes are controlled in a sense. Like, I'm always cutting the throttle, and I know that when I come in, unless I've hit a sign or hit a tree really hard, most of my crashes I know there's not going to be much damage. Something's coming up, I've disarmed, and my copter's hit the ground before any real damage has happened. So I feel like I can smash the shit out of these motors, and I always could, even when they weren't 70-75. So yeah, there we go. I really do like these motors, I really do. My biggest nitpick, my only complaints, are going to be a 0.9mm Allen key. Nobody has one. Nobody. You have to buy a set, so get fucked. Make that 1.5mm so we can actually work on these motors without having to go buy a kit of Allen keys that literally cost sometimes twice the amount of the motor just to work on it. Like, I went to Bunnings Warehouse to buy like a kit with a 0.9 in it, and it was like $30, which is twice the price of this motor. So I don't know, I wouldn't spend that much, and I didn't. I just thought, fuck it, I'm not going to pull the motor apart to that point. I'm only going to get it to there, and we just won't take the grub screws out. We won't change the shaft unless we really have to. So yeah, alright, that's my biggest complaint is the grub screws. There was one other thing, I can't remember what it is. Check down in the description below. I'm sure I'll bitch and complain about anything I can find about, but for the most part, happy days, happy flying. See you on the next one.